What's up, students? Have you ever pranked somebody or thought about pranking somebody? I know for me, when I was in junior high, me and my grandma were super close and we used to always prank each other. She'd get me somehow, and usually I would just resort to taping the little thing on the sink that sprayed, so whenever she'd try to wash her hands or wash the dishes or whatever, it would spray her and terrify her and get her soaking wet. Now, I would want to pull some bigger pranks on my grandma, but I could never pull it off because I was alone. I mean, picture it. If you wanted to TP somebody's house, you probably wouldn't do it alone because it would cost you a lot more money and it would take you a lot more time to try to get all the supplies and get it done, right? Now, if you had a group of people, you could split the cost and you could go and just get it done within 5 minutes, right? So what I'm trying to say, students, is if you go prank somebody, do it together. Not really. You probably shouldn't prank that many people. But what I am trying to say and what we're going to talk about today is if you work together, you can have a bigger impact. Last week, we talked about how if you put your differences aside and make Jesus your #1 priority, that you can work together so much better and become more unified. And this week, we're just going to talk about how if you work together, you can have such a big impact. You can have an impact on your friends, your family, your school, the community around you, or you could even impact the world, students. And I feel like we get stuck sometimes and we feel like we're not impacting people because we sit around waiting to be impacted. But what if God is calling you to be the one who's impacting other people? Take your small groups, for example. Usually you show up on Wednesdays and you come to get something out of small group, whether it be from the video, from your leader, or from your friends around you. You're there to get impacted and to take something away from small group. But what if you went into small group intending to give something instead of receiving something from somebody else? I mean, that's what your small groups are really all about. You're trying to do life together and impact each other positively every single day. Maybe it's as simple as just listening to somebody when they need to be heard, or maybe you're meeting a need that somebody has in your group. You're not only impacting that person, but what you won't realize usually is that you're impacting all the people in the group because they just saw what you did. Now imagine if you by yourself doing one little thing can impact your whole group. Imagine how much of a bigger impact your whole group can have if they do these things all the time. You can impact your schools, your community, and you could even impact the world. And I'm sure whenever I say that, you think that's impossible. Like, we're too small. There's no way we can impact the world. But I want you to see that's exactly what the early church did. So I want you to see that a small group of people who were just following Jesus not only impacted the people around them, but how they impacted the entire world. You see, when Jesus left his followers, they were alone and scared, yet Jesus told them that they were going to be the ones who changed the world because God was going to send his Spirit to help. So in the book of Acts, it tells a story about how the 12 disciples couldn't do it all on their own. So what they did is they went out and they chose other people to give responsibilities to because they knew that together they could have a bigger impact. Look at what it says in Acts. It says they chose Stephen, a man full of faith and of the Holy Spirit. Also Philip, Prochorus, Nicanor, Timon, Parmenas, and Nicholas, a man from Antioch, a convert to Judaism. Now, I'm sure you've never heard of these names before, and I probably didn't pronounce half of them right. But I want you to see is that these people you probably never heard of, because they chose to work together, they had a bigger impact. So how in the world can your small group have an influence like them? I want you to see what it says in Acts 17. It says, they dragged Jason and some of the brothers before the city authorities, shouting, "These men have turned the world upside down and have come here also." Now, what were these guys doing to turn the world upside down? It goes on to say that they were saying that there's another king whose name was Jesus. So here's what that means. These people were telling everybody that there was another king named Jesus and that there was a different way to live. So what can your small group do? I mean, how can you start to show people that there's another king named Jesus and show them that there's another way to live? And the way you can do this is by putting aside your differences and working together, loving people and serving people when it doesn't benefit you. But what does it look like to do this every single day for the rest of your life? I mean, a super easy and clear way to start would be this Sunday at Servolution. I mean, your group can pick a project and just go serve people. And that's what it's all about, guys. Putting aside your differences and working together to show people there's a different way to live. And my hope is that your group will take some time to just discuss and think about what are some ways that you can have a bigger impact by working together. Not just this Sunday at Servolution, but for every single day for the rest of your lives.